I think there's something you should know about me. I just happen to...
Outstanding. Let's go bowling.
Wow! Hey Aussie gamers and honorary Aussie gamers from around the world. Welcome to episode 102. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of November 2015, and you're listening to the Aussie Gamers Express podcast, the podcast with hosts that contact ghosts using a Luigi board. I am your host, Luke One, and joining me this week is my good friend Thorncliff. How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic.
That's lovely. I like to hear some enthusiasm in your voice. Also joining us is our other great friend, Red. How are you?
Well, I'm quite ecstatic to actually be part of the show
this
lovely.
Week. Yeah, I was half expecting you to go, I'm okay, thank you.
Yes. Well, I've got internet, so yes.
Woohoo! Yeah, just to be the polar opposite of Thorncliff, that's all. But anyway, before we start, here's this week's show in preview. So first up we'll have Game Talk, then we'll go through some news, and in this week's news we've got Batman Arkham Knight PC release is unfixable, free Rocket League update changes the game, Sony says they're not done with the Vita, Black Ops 3 mods, Candy Crush purchased, and Fallout 4 mods. After that we'll go through What's That Sound, then a rapid fire quiz, then a new segment called Must Play Games, and then Red's going to bring us home with a shout. So without further ado, let's go through Game Talk, and I'm going to go first. So first on my list of things that I must talk about is, wait for it, Rise of the Tomb Raider. So what we're going to talk about here, look, at the time of recording, as I said at the start of the show, it is Tuesday the 4th of November. Rise of the Tomb Raider is not out yet, and technically we're not allowed to talk about this, but we're not public at this point in time. This is a pre-recorded show, so normally this show is going to come out on Sundays, but because of the Rise of the Tomb Raider release, we're going to delay it until Monday evening. So sorry if you've waited to get your hands on this episode, but that was the only way that we could actually talk about Tomb Raider on this show. So
we're going to find Rusky hiding in the corner, just rocking back and forth because he can't get up and listen to us.
That might be the case. He is a very good fan of ours, and he does listen to the show every week. So thanks, Rusky, if you're listening. Or of course you're listening. All right, so Rise of the Tomb Raider. So we've had a chance to play through that. I've finished Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I've started up on my review as well, which should be up by the time you're listening to this as well. And I've got mixed feelings about the game. Now, I'll start off with the positive, which is where I like to be on video games because I'm a big fan of them. It is a massive game. There are quite a few areas in it. It's what you would call like a semi-open world. You know, like the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider. You had those like open world areas that you could go around, but then you moved on to your linear path to go through the next areas. Now those areas are quite large. They do sort of dwarf the previous one. So it's a big game, and it's a good looking game too. So it is a good step up from what the last generation consoles brought us. But it's a short game, though. My game timer when I finished the game clocked in at about 9.5 hours. But that's after me sort of, dicking around a little bit in the open world areas, checking out some of the optional challenge tombs as well. But yeah, 9.5 hours, that's pretty short, don't you think?
Personally, yeah. I do, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's just typical story stuff, like going through the campaign, not really stopping and doing all the collectibles. I did a little bit, but not a lot. So there's still heaps of the game to do, all the collectibles in all the different areas. I only did about 3 of the optional tombs, so there's plenty of them still to do. That's probably one of the good things that they have changed from the previous one. That there's a lot more of those optional tombs. which is good.
The ones that I've encountered so far, I think there's only about one of them that I've actually gone through and done. They are quite challenging as well, so I did really like that aspect about it. And when you actually complete the tombs, you get a reward for it as well. Whereas with the tombs in the remake of it, it kind of just, once you'd completed the tomb, it just like opened up your map of where everything was. Is that correct in saying?
No.
It just like showed you on the map where everything was?
No, doing the tombs gave you, like, there was a little map inside the tombs that showed you where all the secrets are, all the collectibles. Yeah. But it didn't open up the map, though.
Oh, okay, yeah. You still had to,
Yeah, you still had to roam around. But look, I guess it depends on who you are, because I actually found the optional tombs that I did quite easy. And I did a couple at the start of the game, a couple in the, I think I did the one at the beginning, and then one sort of in the next area, and then one like right at the end. I found them quite easy. I mean, they were a little bit of a head scratcher, but once you sort of look around for a bit and work out what to do, it's actually quite easy. And there's not a lot to it. There's usually like one major thing to solve inside the tomb, and then you're done. There wasn't any sort of do this, move on to the next one, get that one done. There's no like 2-3 stages. It was literally go inside the tomb, work out the one puzzle, you're done. So I found that they could have made those optional tombs a little larger or a little bit more to do in them. I haven't done all of them, so I can't really speak for the rest of them. Maybe there are some really cool ones and intricate ones, but the ones that I encountered were, I thought, quite simple, really, which is sort of indicative of what the first Tomb Raider had. But look, they're still enjoyable though, and they do give you that sense of achievement when you're playing them. But look, the thing that I want to talk about as well, specifically about Rise of the Tomb Raider, it doesn't have that gritty feel to it that I thought that they were going to ramp up in this one. You know, like the first point being the death sequences. Yep. They're not graphic anymore. Like no, she just
spikes
died.
through her head.
No, nothing like that.
Even I drowned once, and that wasn't even really that great either. She really struggled around and kind of like whipped herself back and forward in the previous one as if she was really going through something. It really showed emotion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Like the first time in the original Tomb Raider where I got that spike through my head going down the river. The river. Like I was like, whoa, fuck! Like, what was that kind of thing? It was like that real punch moment. But yeah, it just really doesn't seem to have it in this one. Like,
no, it doesn't have anything.
The bear that you see all through the trailers and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm sure that could have done a really good death scene, but
no, it doesn't. All it does is it hits you and hurts you and takes your health down until eventually you just ragdoll onto the ground and you're dead.
Yeah,
there was no cinematic feel to the deaths. It was, I don't know if they consciously took that out because it was too violent, or they just left it out on this occasion for another reason. I don't know, but yeah, it just didn't.
Because you kind of didn't want her to die in the previous ones, because like you'd seen that and you go, oh shit, and you kind of get this attachment to the character, and you go, oh fuck, like that was a bit intense. Let's not do that.
Yeah, so that's a bit lacking there as well. Look, also the trailers, even the developers, when they announced Rise of the Tomb Raider, said that the 2013 Tomb Raider game was sort of Lara was very green and young, and she wasn't a survivor then, she wasn't a warrior, she wasn't anything like that, and she turns into one by the end of the game, and it was going to be further explored and expanded on in Rise of the Tomb Raider. I don't think they hit that mark. I don't think it did. I felt like, yeah, okay, she was a bit more of a hard ass straight up and just, you got into the battles and killed people over and over again. But it just felt like very mundane, just like, okay, I just kill people now. That's normal for me. That's cool.
Yeah, I liked the innocence behind the first one. She was forced into the situation. Now she's just like, I'm Lara Croft and I'm a badass kind of thing. But that's not really what I wanted from it. I still wanted that emotional attachment, if you would, to the character, knowing that, you know, like she's going through a rough time or she's this and that. Whereas with the more of a feel in this one is like you know what you're doing. Like why is this such a big thing to you? Whereas in the previous one there was so much emotion behind it and all that kind of stuff. You could really feel yourself getting attached to the character, and I haven't really in this one. So
now, speaking of getting attached to characters as well, like in the first one you had, and I can remember most of their names. There was Roth. There was no, I can't remember most of their names. I lie. I remember Roth anyway. There was Roth. I remember them. I don't necessarily remember their name, I should say. So there was Roth. There was that guy that died in the was it a ship or a submarine? Anyway, the guy that had the escape key on his shirt, that young sort of guy, him. I liked him. He was a good character. I was unfortunate that he died. There was also Jonah, and there was the old bloke, the old skipper-like guy. I can't remember his name, but he was in there as well. He meant an untimely death as well. Well, maybe not, because he was an old bloke, but anyway. There was all those characters in there that I felt for and I liked, and I remember. I don't give a damn about the characters that were in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, you know, you've got Lara, which was a big character. Jonah turns up in the first scene as well, but he's not in it really very much. And the rest of the new characters that you come across, they're just like bland. They just felt like they were extras. They weren't main characters. They never really came across as anything interesting to me. So, I didn't really care if any of them died or anything like that. So that I don't think was.
I'm going to go back to the previous one. It was more of a group feel as well. You know, like the group of them were struggling together whilst Lara was struggling herself.
Yeah, and so it was just it was always going to be a hard task, because that Tomb Raider reboot, that hit so many highs. Like, for me, that was a 10 out of 10 game. And to recreate that in a sequel and make it bigger and better, I think that was going to be always going to be a hard task. But they got the bigger and better thing out, like, done well. It is a bigger game. It's still quite short, depending on how you play it. But, you know, like the weapon abilities, the extra things that Lara can do is pretty cool. You start off with 2 of those axes to climb and all that sort of stuff. So it all works real well. But as I'll mention in my review, the gameplay in Rise of the Tomb Raider is the hero. That's the one thing that will keep you playing, because it is fun to play. There's a lot of action. There's a fair few of those action sequences which are my favourite, where you have to just run. And then you're running, you're jumping, you're climbing, and there's a couple of sequences that require you to use all of the things that you've learnt previous in the game in a sequence. And it feels like it's timed, because things are breaking around you, things are exploding, you've got to go, you've got to use your axes, use your arrow, use your different climbing techniques, jump, swing, zip lines. Lara loves a zip line. There's about 1 billion of them in the game. But it looks great. Lara looks fantastic. I love the fact that there's a good game out there with a lead female protagonist, and I'm glad that it's third person as well, because watching her ass for 10 hours, yeah, I have no issues with that whatsoever.
It's not a chore.
No, absolutely not. I guess a bit of a spoiler for my review, but this is one thing that I have to mention. The original Tomb Raider back in 1996, whenever it was, 540 polygons were used to make the entire Lara Croft. I reckon they've used more than that just in her arse alone now. It is beautifully rounded. It's nice. And you can change your clothes in what she's wearing, and you can put on like this warm parka snow jacket thing. I just changed it back to the singlet and pants. I don't care, you can freeze, bitch, but I want to see your butt there. I'm a creep, I know, I understand that. Red, you're really quiet. Are you even there?
I think he's dropped.
Oh, he might have dropped out. Let's see if we can get him back.
No, I'm here.
Oh, what are you doing?
I muted it while I had a mouthful of coffee. My bad. But I have a few questions and a couple of statements based on what you've said. Is that all right? Can I have the floor for 30 seconds?
You can go ahead.
You see, the death scenes aren't as impactful, but what I remember, well, it's going to sound weird by saying it fondly, but she was battered and bashed and hurt and just always in pain in the original or the reboot, you know what I mean? She'd fall and she'd cane herself and get up and sigh and whimper and everything. Is that taken out of it as well?
Well, yes. I'd never really had that feeling that, like, I mean, she does get hurt and thrown around and all that sort of stuff, but, I mean, I guess taking that sort of things out is probably showing that she's better at what she's doing now. So I understand that they've probably taken that out, that she's getting hurt so much because of her experience. So yeah, it is a lot played down, the fact that she's getting thrown around and hurt and injured and all that sort of stuff, even though she does, but it is played down, to answer your question.
Yeah, because I just remember almost feeling sorry for the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, because doesn't she get like a spike right through it?
Yeah, when she's hanging up.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Also, the story. Did you enjoy the story as a whole? Does it leave a big gaping gap for number 3 in inverted commas, or did you feel left wanting, or did you find it sufficient?
Well, the simple and short answer to your first part, the first part of your question on what I thought it like, was the story good? Did I enjoy it? The answer is no, I didn't.
Oh, that's sad.
Did it leave a gap for part 3? No, there's no gaps. It's everything is answered.
Okay.
Everything is like everything. Every question was given an answer. It was pretty much definitive and finished. They did leave it open for a next one, for a new one, with at the end of the 2013 reboot, where she makes that comment at the end saying, you know, something about a further challenge or voyage or whatever like that. There's another comment like that made at the end of the game where she's like, okay, I've now found this sort of resolution, being vague, obviously I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm now looking to expand and do blah blah blah. So spoiler alert, she doesn't die in the end. I'm sure everybody knew that wouldn't happen. But I with the story, sorry, I'll quickly elaborate on why I didn't enjoy the story. I found the story was very generic. I have heard that story told 1,000 times. You pick any sort of similar genre story, whether it be movie or video game, where there's an enemy force. They're called Trinity. They're like like a private military corps. Yep. There's a special. I'm just trying to be vague here. There's a thing that Lara wants to find, and there's a thing that the Trinity wants to find.
Think of all the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah,
and the Uncharted games.
All the Uncharted games. And they both have their own ulterior motives as to why they want to find them. You know, Lara's generally to keep it from the bad guys, and the bad guys want it to take over the world. It's that kind of story.
Yeah, figures. So,
but the thing is, look, you can make an in-depth story using that sort of I don't know, I'm lost for words, storyline. That kind of narrative, you can make it in depth, but the characters were quite shallow. Like if you have a look at Uncharted 2, I think it is, Uncharted 2, that's the same thing. You know, Nathan Drake wants to find what was it, the Tree of Life, I think it was, for his own reasons, and then you had that big guy, I can't remember his name, he had the scarred face, but he wanted it for evil. But that guy, that bad guy, he was brutal, man. Like, you saw him in cutscenes and all that, and he would just kill his own men, and he was very ruthless and all that sort of stuff. Similar thing with Tomb Raider, but I don't think they really hit the note with him either. Like, he's just like a dude, and I don't think he was bad enough.
Yeah, fair
He just,
call.
I want my bad guy. I want to despise my bad guys. Like when you're watching Game of Thrones and you watch that little prick on the throne. What was his name? That little
Joffrey.
shit. Joffrey.
Joffrey, not Jeffrey.
Joffrey. You know how they made that? You just fucking, you wanted to punch that little fucker in the head and rip it off. You know.
Like
Yeah.
Ramsay Bolton as well.
Yeah. But him, like the bad guy in this one, I didn't hate him enough. Like he was an arsehole. He was a bad guy and deserved, to have his head cut off. Not that happens, mind you. But I didn't feel that towards him. I don't feel like they developed the bad guy to be a bad guy. And yeah, it was just that sort of thing. It just fell short on everything. It's almost like they took the 2013 Tomb Raider and just stretched it out, made it bigger, but didn't concentrate on parts. It's all just sort of spread out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Two last things, really.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said that it was going to be hard to follow the reboot and make it any better.
Mm-hmm.
I almost argue the point. They had the perfect platform to make it better because it was current gen only.
Yep.
And I would assume, it's me just assuming here, the additional money from Microsoft.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I would hope that they've got a shit ton of money from Microsoft, because that's the thing. Like, I mean, I was looking at statistics just today actually, and the PlayStation 4 is out still double sales, and I think the PlayStation 4's at about 30 million. Is that?
Yeah.
About 30 million units sold. So, and the Xbox One is less than half of that. So they're really cutting it. Well, the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, is on the Xbox 360 as well, but people that are buying it on the 360, surely they're not going to get a very good experience, because that's going to be way scaled back, being on the last generation console with a lot less memory and power. But yeah, it just I really feel for Rise of the Tomb Raider and Crystal Dynamics, because I don't think that it's going to do very well, and not because of the shortcomings or the parts that I'm saying aren't so great, but because it's just not going to find its way into the hands of enough gamers, because there's way more people out there if you put your game on cross-platform, and that game isn't really something that is I mean, it used to be an exclusive to PlayStation, but now PlayStation don't have it for 12 months. I believe it's 12 months anyway. So I think it's probably going to fall on the wayside.
It's about 5 or
sales-wise.
6 million sales they're losing out on just by that.
Yeah, minimum probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just once it's released, I'm probably going to keep tabs on how the sales go, because it's quite an interesting thing for me to find out if it was a good idea for them to do that or not. I don't think it's a strong enough game to sell consoles. I don't think it'll sway people from PlayStation. I don't think it'll get people to specifically buy a Microsoft console just to play it.
Yeah, that was going to be my last question. Is it a $70 game or is it a $470 game?
Yeah, no, it is definitely a $70 game. Like, I don't think it would disappoint anyone to the point that they would say it was shit. It is not that. That's not the game at all. It is brilliant. I am glad to have played it, and I'm not finished with it. I will enjoy going through and doing collectibles and the optional tombs. But yeah, it's just a shame.
It's no Gears of War or Last of Us.
No, that's the thing. No, it's not, and it sadly could have been a lot better than it was. But I don't know. I don't know what the go is there. But it was just, I think the story needed to be stronger. It's a predominantly single player game. It needs to have a strong story.
And that won't be resurrected by any DLC. Sorry, Sean.
I was just going to add in there as well. It's a tough time to try and hit the market as well with a game that is exclusive like that.
Yeah. So that's...
You got Fallout 4 coming out on the same day.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that's probably going to sink it, sadly. So, which is a cross-platform game too. So, it's I really can't see it doing too well, because people are going to buy it. People are going to upload videos. People are going to tell their impressions. People are going to be. Well, I mean, not that I say that I represent the majority, because I don't know. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe I just didn't understand it maybe, I don't know, that's a possibility. But if I am what the majority thinks, if I have a similar, like a reasonable opinion of the game, people aren't going to go out there and rush out to buy a game with mediocre reviews. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of it's going to be most likely spoiled for the PlayStation users in 12 months' time.
All the PlayStation people are going to know what happens. They're going to watch the videos. Yeah, you're right. It's a shame. I think 12-month exclusive is ridiculous.
Yep.
I just want to add a little bit extra into here, the environments in it.
Yeah.
So they look great. It's
They do.
and the bits of environment in there that actually change the way that you play things as well. Like there's bits in there with the snow, and it looks fantastic the way that the snow actually goes
Doesn't
around
it?
your feet and stuff when you're
Yep.
walking. It looks really, really great.
Oh, I can't
But
agree more. Absolutely.
when the snow, when you're walking through the deep snow, you can only go slow through it. So if there's areas that you need to run around, you need to kind of dodge the areas on the ground that you can see that have deep snow, or try and jump over them so as not to slow yourself down. So that's a really nifty thing that I haven't seen in anything
Yeah,
like,
it's not just a
like this
skin.
before. So
Just
yeah,
quickly,
it's
let me
actually
jump in
really-
there. That
Beg pardon?
there's a part that only occurs once in the game,
Oh, does it?
and that's the part
Oh, I
where it
haven't-
tells you about the slow walking. That does not occur ever again in the story.
Oh, okay.
That only happens in that first part. It is still a factor, obviously, when you're hunting and things like that. It makes a difference. But as for the actual campaign, you'll never run into an area like that again, where you've got to be careful of where you step for the snow.
You
Oh,
just
okay.
said the hunting then. Did it have the same sort of emphasis on it that Fallout 4 did? Bloody Far Cry 4? You need this and that to craft this and that. Was there a big emphasis on the hunting
No.
side of things?
No, not at all.
Oh,
You-
man,
you-
I so want to like this game.
You need feathers and sticks to craft
Bows.
the arrows,
Yeah.
and you need to pick up these little berries and cloth to craft healing, like med kits.
Yep.
That's
Mushrooms for poison.
Yeah, but that's all you need, is just those four things: the sticks, the cloth, the feathers, and the little berries. That's all you need. The rest
And
of
that was
it,
another thing that was disappointing. There was the hunting thing. Like Far Cry, you killed something and you really got in there with the knife and like
Yeah.
really like hacked away at it to get the skins and stuff. And this was kind of like you went over and do it, and
Picked it up.
you did one swipe at the animal and the skin was there. And I'm like, oh come on, like
yeah, I'm
I
not,
want that little bit of extra effort. I want that grittiness to but.
But look, the hunting was not very necessary at all. You don't really need to hunt at all if you're just going to play through the campaign. If you want to level up and get all your stuff and get XP and all that sort of stuff, so if you're chasing 100% achievements on the Xbox, then yeah, it'll be very necessary. But it's not that amazing. But I've got to mention one thing. Sean, I don't know if you've gotten up to. Have you seen any chickens yet?
No.
Anybody listening that plays Rise of the Tomb Raider, if you see a chicken, don't shoot it. Chase it. Press the X button and pick it up. You can catch the chickens and pick them up, and then you can throw them.
I thought there was going to be a big bloody Skyrim reference.
No, there's absolutely no reason to why you would want to throw them, but you can throw them, and try and shoot them out of the air. It's an achievement. So you throw a chicken up into the air and shoot it with an arrow, and you get an achievement. It's actually quite funny when you do that. I didn't know you could, and I just did it, and she picked it up, and it was quite hilarious. So give that a go. Was there anything else, Red? Did you have anything else you want to
Nah, man, I've basically touched on a few extra bits, but I so wanted to like the game. I'll probably play it for the sake of it now instead of anticipating it, but yeah, a little bit saddened by a couple of those things.
Do you want to score out of 10?
If you haven't put it in your review, yeah.
I haven't put it in my review. I never put a score out of 10 in my reviews.
No.
But if I had to score it, I think I'd probably give it a 6.5.
Whoa. And you love Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it is a great game. Look, as you said, Sean, the environments are massive. The look and feel of the environments is massive and beautiful, and it is very well crafted. But as for the actual campaign, the story, 6.5.
Ouch.
All right, so hopefully Crystal Dynamics is actually listening to this. Go now and put all of this stuff that we've discussed in the scene that we want and add it for the PS4 release.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I want to see. This is what I want.
That'd be nice. It'd be nice if they were listening. Anything else, Sean, that you want to add to that before I move on?
No, I haven't finished it as yet. But
you've done the tutorial, right?
I've done about 3 hours, so I'm a third of the way there.
Nice. All right. Well, let's move on to the next game that I played, Need for Speed. Now, I played Need for Speed on the Xbox One. Now, that hasn't been released as yet, but you've got 10 hours of free play on if you're a EA Access subscriber. So I downloaded that and gave that a go. Any one of you, ask me what type of game is it?
What type of game is it, Luke?
It's a fucking shit game. That's what it is. It's fucking terrible. I can't believe, and it used to annoy me. I used to think whenever this game was, any news was related to it, a lot of people would comment, "Oh, I can't wait for Need for Speed. I'm excited for this one. It's going to go back to the roots. It looks fantastic." I thought it looked shit back then, and I think it's shit now. I don't like it at all. That's very passionate, isn't it? I would rather play Drive Club.
Roy.
No, Drive Club. I think Drive Club is a better game than Need for Speed. It starts off, there's about, I reckon the ratio from the about an hour that I put into it, the ratio of cutscene to gameplay is about 90-10. The percentage anyway, it's not really a ratio. It's all real live actors in the cutscenes, but
horrible.
But it's like they've done it on a green screen and added in like fake computer, like the cars from the game, like actual game models rather than real cars. I don't know, maybe they couldn't afford the real cars on the set, so they just added the actual CG cars. And
you get the real cars when you buy the DLC pack.
the real cars.
Yeah.
In the cutscenes.
In the cutscenes, you get
that's
the real
DLC.
cars in the cutscenes.
Yeah, thanks, EA.
DLC that they're going to release.
So yeah, you're watching cutscenes for half of them that you can't skip. I'm like, just skip this. I want to try the game. And then you get into the game, and it does the whole, like pan around the car until it gets you behind the car, and then you start driving. And then I thought, okay, I might just turn left a little bit, and the car just went and like steered, like fucking started drifting off to the right. I'm like, no, I just tapped the left stick to steer, and it like fucking nearly crashed. And then it was almost like the steering sensitivity was on like 2000% for half a second, because then it went all normal, and then I started driving. So I'm like, okay, and we drove, and the car I was in was like a bag of shit, and I just drove for about 13 seconds till I got to where I needed to, and then another cutscene started playing with this dickhead with a stupid, those hats where they got the flat brim and the sticker on it and shit.
Oh, the trucker hat thingies, yeah.
Yeah, but the brim isn't bent, and it's like some douchebag lad or whatever they call them these days. He's one of those kids, and he's just on the screen going, "Hey, man, what's going on? Like, this guy's like a super duper awesome racer," and he's introducing you to all these other dickheads, and they're just all criminals that should be locked up. They're all spastics. I don't like them, but you sit through the shitty cutscenes. And then you get into, and then it loaded me up in what I think is kind of like a little open world, and it loaded up my car inside of my car. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yay. Yeah.
So when it loaded up, I had my car that I was actually in and controlling, and then I had a duplicate of my car on top of me that I was inside of. I'm like, what's going on? I took a few screenshots on the Xbox. I have no idea how to recover those screenshots, mind you, so I have to, I don't know, ring up Xbox support and say, yeah, I said Xbox take a screenshot, and it did. Now what do I do? So I'll have to do that. And yeah, so I drove off, and I'm inside this car, and then as I got out of the car, it sort of went boom, and almost like I crashed. Fucking boom, and fucked me car up, and I think I drove off, and I'm not kidding you, I'm not overdoing this. I think I drove for about 30 seconds with the other guys, with like the other characters that in the game that you meet up with, and it was kind of like a little race, and it only went for about 30 seconds. I lost. There was 3 of us. I came second. And when we got to the finish line, the cutscene started, and the guy was praising me for winning.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding you. He's like, yeah, man, I told you he was the best. He's the bomb, man. He'd kick anyone's ass. I'm like, I just fucking lost. What are you talking about?
EA stands for early access.
I was fucking sideways into the barriers and shit a couple of times because it's a bit weird, like the controls and stuff. And yeah, I won apparently. So I then what I did, I found a cheat code where if you hold down the home button, like the Xbox button in the middle, and then press A, it turns off the console and saves you. You don't have to play it anymore. It's great. Great little cheat code. Keep that in mind, anyone listening. Fucking piece of shit, that game. Everyone's so excited for it. You can fucking have it. I'll play it when it's on EA Access in 6 months' time. Oh. Alright, let's move on. There's enough of that game. I also played MX vs ATV Supercross Encore on the PlayStation 4.
Was it fucking shit?
No, it wasn't.
Ah, God.
But let me explain it. I'll tell you about this game. We won't spend too much time on this one. I might talk about it a little bit more next week. But MX vs ATV Supercross was originally out on the last generation of consoles, on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. I picked it up on the Xbox 360, and the first thing that really impressed me about the game is it was only $50. It was a retail. I'm talking about a few years ago, probably about 5 years ago now. I picked it up for about $50 brand new retail. It only came with it came with all the campaign tracks, but then it only had a couple of free plays. I think it only had 2 or 3, and it had a shitload of DLC that you could buy. And what I worked out, that if you bought all the DLC on day one, it would pretty much amount to like an $89 purchase. So a full purchase. But
that was a thing back then.
Yeah, it gave you the option to buy it for $50, and then just that's all you needed to pay. So you got a cheap game, but if you wanted all of the shit in it, you had to pay full price, which I thought was good. It's kind of like DLC, but it's like being honest, saying we made the full game and cut it in half and put half of it as DLC, but we're only going to charge you half for the game. So it was a good way of doing it. So I played it back then. I only bought the game. I didn't get the DLC or anything like that. And I enjoyed it back then because it was probably one of the best motocross games that I'd ever played on a console. So that was quite good back then. What I was hoping that Supercross Encore was the same game, because there's quite a few MX vs ATV games. I was really hoping that it is the same game. And it is. It's exactly the same game as it was back then, just with everything now. I think it retails for about $40 on the PlayStation Store. I'm not sure if it's on the Xbox One as well. It probably is, but I haven't checked. The only thing is that is a little bit of a letdown. It is literally just a straight port. There's no enhancements to the graphics. There's no lift in the frame rate. So the frame rate drops below 30 in some cases. That may have been a lot to do with my online connection when I was playing online, but the frame rate was a bit low. But it's pretty much the same experience that you would have had back on the Xbox 360 or PS3 if you played it back then. But no, I really enjoyed it. I've played that a fair bit over 2 days now. I'm really pleased with it. So it probably is worth grabbing if you're into all the motorbikes and stuff like that. There's another game on the store. I can't remember what it's called, but it's some sort of motocross game. You can buy the trial, which has just one track, or you can purchase the whole thing. That game's shit in comparison, and that was made for this generation. This one still holds up. It's got the best control scheme and probably the best graphics of any of the Supercross games that are out now, and it's pretty much the only one out now, I should say. But
I don't really know too much about it. What is it? Is it look like a Trials, or does it look
no,
like
it's like think of a car game, but you're on a motorbike. So it's behind the third. Well, you can change the camera angle, but think of third person behind your bike, and you can do tracks, closed circuits, where it's like jumps and all that sort of stuff. Muddy areas, and it rips up the mud. It's really cool. Or you can go into the open free roam ones, where one's a beach with like all the big sand dunes, one's a quarry with like the dug up earth and earth moving equipment that you can jump over. There's another one which is something else altogether. But yeah, that's the type of game it is.
Cool.
Did you have any other questions, Red? Did you want to ask anything?
No, we'll elaborate a little bit further next week because I've got it on the download also.
Yes, that's what I thought. All good. So moving on to the next one. And the next one, believe it or not, I have put myself through this again. Alien Isolation.
I was there.
Yes, and I played it a bit more today as well as I did play it a few days ago. Now, what I've done is I've said, you know what, I don't care. I will be a scaredy cat. I don't care. I've put it down to the easiest setting. So I've put it down to easy, and I'm progressing, because when you turn it down to easy, it turns the alien into the dumbest piece of shit on earth. It is it is so dumb. I was hiding in, like, out in the open, if you will, because all I did was just crouch in a corner and go, oh, don't get me, don't get me, and it just walked past me, which was really cool, because that meant that I didn't fucking die every 2 minutes. So it gave me a chance to actually explore a little bit more to find out what I needed to do. And as it turns out, the last place that I stopped playing it about 12 months ago, what I needed to do was in the exact same room that I saved the game in. So I didn't have to do anything. But anyway, I've progressed now and gone a little bit further and unlocked a few more trophies, and I'm really enjoying it a lot more. Putting it on easy does not take away the scare factor. I am still shitting myself playing that game. So if anybody had the same problem that I had, that they were too scared, thought it was too hard, shit yourself every time, put it on easy. You'll probably find yourself, you might actually play it through. Still scary, but you'll at least progress. So that's worth a go. So I'm going to try and finish that one. I don't know how long it's going to take, because it is quite a long game. But I've continued off from my last save, so I haven't started again or anything like that. So I'm enjoying it again, which is good. Last thing I'll just quickly mention, Forced. I said last week that we were going to talk about that this week. We can't as yet. Technical issues, we won't get into it because I don't want to tarnish anything until we know a little bit more about what the problems are, and then once we actually get our hands on playing it online, we'll have a chat about it. But that's it for me. I've taken up a fair bit of time, so who wants to go next? Put your hand up.
Yeah, I'll run through quickly.
I'll just take your word for it that your hand was up. Go, Sean.
I've just played through a bit more of Rory McIlroy, going through all the challenges now. They're it's getting a little bit tedious, but it's all I really need now to do to crack the platinum on it. So just plugging away at those. Been playing a bit more of the Uncharted collection as well. Still going through Uncharted 1. I know I'm hopeless, but there's just been so much out there at the moment that's been able to grab my attention for a while. So with Halo and all that kind of stuff. So I'm getting through the Uncharted collection at the moment.
Nice. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's awesome. Loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that it's going to be all over on Friday again.
All over on Friday?
Yeah. This is Black Ops will come out.
Oh, yeah.
And just like every year I say, I'm not fucking buying it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll buy it.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Uncharted 2?
Not all the way through. I had it. Well, my brother lent it to me when I first got the PS3, and I only played a little bit of it, and then went no, and then kind of palmed it off a little bit. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to going through them all. I played Uncharted 3 though, so it's weird.
Yeah, Uncharted 2 is the best. So you should get onto that one. What else, man?
That's about it.
That's it?
At the moment, yeah.
All right, Red.
Real quickly, I've played probably 30 or 40 games of Rocket League this week. I know, I'm a sucker.
Well,
How many
we'll
games
get
is
onto
that now?
Last I checked, I've played 1,051.
Jesus.
Phew.
So it's a couple. Done the Nightfall on Destiny. Got the special exotic sniper rifle last night on a daily mission that only pops up every now and again. So, because also I should mention I've had really zero internet this last week since the recording of our last podcast. So I found out real quickly that one night on Destiny took about 400 megabytes of data when I tethered my phone. So that wasn't something I was able to maintain my massive Destiny splurge, sorry.
Wow.
So I've done a couple of little bits and pieces on there, hung out with Weeksy and Gizmo, and done a few little bits and pieces that I really didn't want to miss out on being just a daily thing. And the only other thing that I've played, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I've really got through the meat of that now. I decided probably about, well, granted there's 9 main missions, and each mission consisting of probably 5 parts on average. I've got 1.5 missions left to go, but when I got to about mission 5 or 6, I was still up in the air. Am I going to platinum this? Am I not going to platinum this? And I decided I'm going to platinum this. So the last couple of days have been really just grinding out those little one-off bits and pieces for some trophies, and then I'll throw a story mission in here or there just to keep it a little bit interesting, because there's one fuck-off trophy. Look, I'll really quickly outline it now, because you can drive around in horse-drawn carts, so it's like Grand Theft Auto. It's awesome. You can rip people out of their carriages and off you go and everything like that. But on the sides of the road, you got lamp posts and little metal poles and trees and whatnot. And there's a trophy there to destroy 5,000 of them, 5,000 individual pieces of environment. And if you were to sit there, and mind you, they're more prominent in the harder areas, so you probably won't get to these areas for probably your first 6, 7 or 8 hours of play. But once you get to these areas, I've decided, yeah, rightio, I'm going to do this. So from now on, I'm going to spend half an hour just running around a circuit, just knocking shit over. And I reckon it'd take about, if you were to do it solid, about 2.5 hours to 3 hours of just constant driving on the footpath.
So, am I correct in saying as well that there's no tracker in it?
No, there's not. Oh, well, there is, because you get a perk. Well, there is, there isn't. The different things you can do throughout the game will give you different perks. So plus 5% stealth if you can get 75 assassinations from behind cover, and so many knife kills, it'll give you an extra 10% knife damage and everything. It'll count your first 75.
So tracker, do you mean like to tell you how many you've done?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what the PlayStation needs to do, because the Xbox...
Yeah, it does.
It does it.
Videos.
But yeah, it does it separate to the game. It's in the achievement section.
And you can bring it up on your screen too.
Yeah, you can, like, they call it snapping it to the side, and it gives you a green bar, which will take you from the start to the finish, and then when the green bar goes all the way across, that's when the achievement pops. The trophies need to steal that.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, because you don't know how many times I'd say, it depends who I was talking to. I said, I wish there was some sort of tracker so I could feel like I was doing something.
Even if it's
just
just a
aimless
statistics,
driving around.
yeah, just a statistics thing in the menu. But that achievements thing is heaps good.
But yeah, so I've got that out. That's the rarest trophy, barring the platinum. So that's out of the way now. I've got 5 trophies to go. 2 of them are just mission-based. Completing the game will get me 2 of those. Then there's 100% sync, and then a couple of and then 2 separate combat trophies, which are cheesable.
So there's no difficulty based.
No difficulty based, and the best fucking thing, no online trophies.
Because
Well, there's no online.
Because there's no online, yeah.
But that was the only thing that fucked me for Black Flag. I would have had the platinum for that 100 times over. I just couldn't find enough matches to get to level 50 and do absolutely everything that it wanted me to do just for 1 online trophy. So I fell 1 trophy short on that. So this will be my first Assassin's Creed Platinum.
Oh, there you go. I think I'd got 2 Assassin's Creed 2 platinumed.
So that'll probably, if not tonight, I'll have that by lunchtime tomorrow, because midnight release tomorrow night, boys. And nothing else gets a look in until the 10th.
Good old blocks. Lovely. All right,
So
what
that's
else,
well
mate?
worth to spend then, Red.
Oh, mate, what a game. In all honesty, shit hot. Yeah, I
Well,
really
that's the
enjoyed
thing.
it.
I'm still burnt by Unity quite
So
a
is
bit.
I.
So I might actually go in and trade Unity in to get my...
Get this, yeah. Poetic. Yeah, no, worth a playthrough. Very good. That it's taken certain aspects from Unity and simplified them and integrated it just brilliantly back to an old school, like Black Flag sort of thing.
Good to
Gameplay,
know.
so.
Good to know. Good stuff. What else, man?
That's it, bro. That's it. I've just no internet,
That's it.
so I've been playing offline on a AC.
All right, well, let's move on to the news then, shall we?
Yeah.
Help you that.
All right, first up in the news, I've got Batman Arkham Knight is unfixable. So last week we reported that the PC release for Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, was happening. Now, it did happen, but it's still broken. Whoops. And Ubisoft claimed that it's unfixable. How does that happen? How can you not fix things? You know what I reckon that is?
Don't know how Ubisoft reported on it though.
What?
You said Ubisoft.
Oh, I did say Ubisoft, didn't I?
That's why they'll sit back laughing, going, can't suck.
That's funny. Warner Brothers, I should say. Spastic. Yeah, Warner Brothers claim it's unfixable, but I think that's probably because of PC having so many different video cards. Because I think that's what it is. I think that the issue is. Whereas, you know, on console, obviously they're all the exact same gear, so they write all the software to match. But anyway, they're claiming they can't fix it, and they're offering refunds to anybody. So I've got a little quote here. We are very sorry that many of our customers continue to be unhappy with the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. We worked hard to get the game to live up to the standard you deserve, but understand that many of you are still experiencing issues. So what they're going to do, they're going to give, they're offering a full refund of game and DLC up until the end of 2015. Now, if you want a refund, you have to do both. It's not, you can't just refund the DLC. It'll have to be the game and the DLC. So they are offering full refunds to anyone that has purchased the game, regardless of how long you've had it for, regardless of how many hours you've played it for. You can apply for a refund through Steam, and it will be granted based on the issues that it's had. So, I mean, that is probably a reasonable thing for them to do. It is a painful thing, no doubt, and it's unfortunate to the people that bought it. Anybody that decides to keep the game and doesn't go for the refund, they have assured that they're going to keep working on it to try and fix it and get as best as they can, but they've pretty much said that they probably can't fix it, which is weird.
It's gone now, though, hasn't it?
What do you mean it's gone?
Well, the feel for Batman. It's
Oh, yeah.
been
Oh, yeah.
gone.
Oh yeah, it's finished. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, that's that. Move on to the next news. Free Rocket League update changes the game. Red, you'll probably be interested in this considering you're a big fan of it. But Psyonix are bringing what they're calling mutators to Rocket League. And and that's happening in November. So some stage this month. You'll be able to change the size and weight of the ball and change gravitational effects too. It has also been mentioned that you can change the shape of the ball. So if you want a cube for some bizarre reason, that'll be interesting, you can do that. You can also modify respawn timers and change the way the game keeps score. And a month later there'll also be a new game mode which will emulate a game of hockey. So it'll be like a big puck that you've got to hit around as well. And these are all free updates, which is pretty neat. So that'll breathe a new sense of life into the game for me, because I'd like to do that. A couple of private matches with massive balls.
100% boost.
Boost all the time. Square balls or cube balls or whatever. Change the gravitational so we're all floating around and you just have to fly using the boost and stuff like that. It'll be a game changer. So obviously I would imagine that all of the online matches will probably still be the same.
Yeah.
I think these will just be for private matches. So that's only a guess. I haven't read that anyway, but I imagine that'd be the case. So that's pretty neat. I'm looking forward to that, and I don't know, probably update on the page as to when it's available, because it's not as yet as far as I know. So that's pretty cool, pretty neat. Red, give us your news, buddy.
Rightio. So last week I also made a report on the PS, or Sony not developing games for the PS Vita any longer. Mm-hmm. And apparently that was a misquote and a report from a quote from, what's his name, senior VP, vice president, I remember back long ago, I got asked that question. Masuyasu Ito from Sony had said there was no titles in development for the system and it was leaving up to third parties to fill the void. So since then they've come out and said third parties are working very hard on the Vita, but Sony's own strategy is to focus on the PS4, which is the new platform, but there is still first-party Vita content being worked upon. Jesus, spit it out, my bad. So you probably might see something to do with Ratchet and Clank upon the release of the PS4 title and everything else like that. So I've had to come out and acknowledge my mistake from my report last week, and but in context, they had the Paris Games Week last week, and in its 90-minute show there was nothing again to do with the Vita. So that's what, like E3, the Paris show week, and EV Expo. The Vita's just not been looked at for probably 12 months of showcasing. So
yeah, dude, I still don't think that you've misunderstood the news item from last week. I still think that is the case.
You got my back, man.
Absolutely. I don't think you got it wrong. I think what Sony are coming out and saying this week is a backstep from what was interpreted from what they said, but not necessarily because it's untrue. I think what they're telling us is, yes, there is still first-party content, but that doesn't mean that there's any games coming for the Vita.
No, it's correct.
First-party content could be something as silly as a icon that you can download for your avatar. It could be something as stupid as an update for the Vita. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are any games coming. I think that they're mincing words. I think they're tiptoeing around the subject because they don't want to look bad and because they still have Vita on sale. They still want people to buy them. They don't want people to be scared because obviously they make money from third-party sales. But people would be scared to buy it if they thought that Sony weren't making games anymore. And I don't think they are. I think what they're saying is leaving it open that they may make more games in the future, but at the moment they're not doing diddly squat. And that is, like you said, we've just had the Paris Gamescom. What was it? Gamescom? No. What?
Games Week, yeah.
Games Week. They've not announced anything. If they wanted to, if they had something, if they had something in the works, they would want to push it. They've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's what I reckon, and I reckon they're just trying to put the flames out a little bit. Yeah. So
It's only big in places like Japan with the JRPGs anyway. The only thing that they're releasing on it, like even though they say, oh, we're going to keep on giving you content on the Vita through PS Plus and that, they're only indie games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing... Like when it first came out, you were getting a couple of like decent ones, like your Resogun, which is still an indie game, but it's a good game. A few of the Lego ones they threw out there, and
God of War?
yeah. Oh no, that's never come onto PS Plus.
Oh, damn.
No, that hasn't. All right.
Next one.
Yeah, next one.
All right, so there's going to be a official PC modding tool released for Call of Duty Black Ops 3 early next year, so not straight away on the PC, which is going to allow modding and mapping. So when the tools are complete, players will be able to create their own custom maps and game modes. How cool does that sound?
That is really cool for PC. But
For fucking PC, yeah, I know.
would it be really cool? I could understand if we can't make them on the console.
Bring the favourites across.
But bring a favourites list across and let the console. Like, I don't know if that would work, but if you can do it on Fallout, maybe you can do it with this as well, and just let the console plebs play the maps made by the PC geniuses.
Yeah,
What they'll
true.
do is they'll have a competition and pick the best 4, and then sell them for $40.
They'll chuck one in the next map pack.
Yeah.
You're so on this DLC bandwagon today, aren't you, Sean?
Oh,
He's not wrong though.
No, of course not. So Treyarch is targeting a March 2016 for a closed alpha of the mod tools, but they think things will get working pretty quickly after that if it's proven to be
it'll
successful.
go online.
And it will
It'll
be.
fuck up. They'll need to fix it, and then it'll be time for Modern Warfare 4.
No, well, the Call of Duty games work fine on PC. I've played them. They work all right. I think they'll know what they're doing. I played the beta as well. That worked good.
It did work good.
It played exactly like the console version. Identical.
We're literally 31 hours from actually potentially having our hands on it now as Australians.
Yeah, nice. All right, that's good news for PC guys anyway. So, Sean, give us some news, man.
All right. The makers of Candy Crush, King, have been bought by...
Kanye West.
No,
Kim Kardashian.
no,
Justin Bieber.
no. As if they haven't got enough money already, Activision Blizzard has bought King
Oh, I was close.
for $5.9 billion.
Billion?
Billion. Now, to put that in perspective, Microsoft purchased Mojang for $2.5 billion. Facebook bought the Oculus for $2 billion. Amazon bought Twitch for $970 million, and EA bought PopCap, who made Plant vs Zombies, for $750 million.
And $5
billion.
billion.
$5.9 billion they've
Candy
spent
Crush.
on acquiring King Digital Entertainment.
I've never played Candy Crush. I've never, ever, ever.
There's
Wow.
one
So-
you missed. There's one you missed, Sean. One more for the statistics column.
What's that?
Disney purchased Marvel Entertainment and Lucasfilms for $4 billion.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. There you go. Interesting. That's
Yes, and they'll
massive.
make that $4 billion back on the first
Oh.
week of Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
Whereas, Blizzard will just make this money back from 4-year-olds purchasing fucking tokens on Candy Crush. In
Yeah, on their
a
mum's
day
phone.
and a half.
Yeah.
And release Tetris MMO.
Yeah.
Nice. Next thing you'll know, in Heroes of the Storm, you can run around as a fucking piece of jelly bean.
Jelly beans.
Jelly bean and a fucking sour lolly. Anyway. Oh, well, there you go. What else is next?
What's next? Fallout 4 has got, we all know about the modding tool that's come to that and all that kind of stuff.
Exciting.
Now, some information that's been leaked or released is the end user agreement for Fallout 4. Now, in that end user agreement, it states that all mods for Fallout 4 must be free.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's good
So
news.
whenever any of the mods are made and all that kind of stuff, they've said everything that you create for it has got to be free to the public to if you're going to create it. So this is really good because like there was always the fear there that you'd have to buy some of the mods from the PlayStation Store or from the Xbox Marketplace or something like that. So yeah, none of that's going to be happening, and I think it's all on the back of remember how Valve had the paid mods at the start of the year, and that just crashed and burned majorly.
Bloody oath.
So yeah, I think that it's a really good thing. What about you?
Well, yeah, that's I think their way of making sure that individuals and third parties don't make money off what they've created.
Yeah, and that's a fair call too.
Absolutely, I understand that. That's fine, and I like it because I like free things.
Yes, and I can't wait to start running around as a stormtrooper.
Oh, do
or
that!
as Master Chief.
Oh, Batman! Do that. Do
Oh,
that.
Batman will be a thing. It always is in everything. You can get a Batman mod.
Yeah, you know how I've only been
I'm
mildly...
just thinking playing as Master Chief running around Fallout 4 on PS4.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen. I've only been mildly interested in Fallout 4.
Mm.
Getting a bit more interested. I'm really excited for it now. Now that I've got the game pre-ordered, because it's $60 from JB Hi-Fi for pre-order.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I saw that and I couldn't say no. I thought, all right, for $59.95 and $1 postage, I'll buy it. So I'm excited now that it's paid for and it's going to be coming to me. So I'm looking forward to it. I would be keen to play.
Oh, damn, I'm looking forward to busting out my new controller out of the box for it.
Lovely. No, that's cool, man. That is good news that they'll all be free. And that's a whole bunch of good news because we're done with that now, aren't we?
Yes.
All right, well, let's move on to What's That Sound? Okay, last week's What's That Sound? Sean, I think you got it at the death, and I cut it out because you gave away the answer. But do you care to give us?
Aperture Laboratories?
What, lavatories?
Yeah, because his answer was shit.
Yeah, that's correct. I agree. It was incorrect and shit. But that's got nothing to do with What's That Sound. That was the rapid fire quiz. But anyway, last week's What's That Sound was what, Sean?
I
Can't remember?
Jimmy, I can't remember. No.
Fair enough. You got a sieve for a memory, but it was from Halo. It was the little grunts.
Ah, yes.
Woo!
Yeah, that guy?
Something like that.
Yeah, a little bit like this. All right, so that was last week's What's That Sound anyway, and we'll go on to this week's What's That Sound and see if you guys have half a clue this time round. I think it's easy. I always forget because I changed the name of the file, so it's not there, the answer. I always forget what it is, so I'll know in a second if it's easy or hard. Have a listen. Super easy. Red, I think you called out your name in the middle
That's
of that.
Sonic.
It is!
The end of the level.
Oh, even more specifically, congratulations, well done, that is the answer. So I'll play that again, just for those listening at home, and that's it. Sean, did you have half a clue?
Yes.
I'll take that as a no.
Yeah. I'd heard
So-
it before.
If you're listening at home and you think you know what that sound is, send us a message to our inbox. It's been quiet the last few weeks. Either it's been too hard or people just aren't interested anymore. What do you reckon it is?
Too hard.
I think we need to up the ante with the prizes.
A night with Red.
Yeah, you can have a couple of nights with Red. We've got to up the ante, dude. Actually, maybe we could threaten to have a couple of nights with Red, and then as your prize, we'll say, don't worry about it. Just kidding. All right, I'm going to work on some better prizes for the next couple of weeks. It's still just going to be a free game for this week, but I'll see if I can up the ante and we'll tell people about it, see what we can do. All right, well, that's What's That Sound for this week. That was really quickly because Red knows what he's all on about. So, next we are going to get into a weekly affair now. So this is going to happen every week now, but let's do a rapid fire quiz. All right, so for this week's rapid fire quiz, we'll just make a quick mention to last week. Congratulations, Red. You were the winner of rapid fire quiz number 5, and insert your obligatory argumentative comment here, Sean.
I still stand by it that it's actually Aperture Laboratories. But Gabe is yet to... He's getting back to me, you know. He's just finishing off his cheeseburgers and...
I told you.
Cleaning the Doritos off his fingers, getting ready to tweet back at me. But I
told you that it wouldn't happen. I told you that it wouldn't happen, and I said that you've had a week until the next podcast until we would declare. So you've missed out your chance.
He's a busy man.
No, well, that's it. A week is enough. So I know I'm right, and that's the way it's going to be. They're my questions. I wrote the answers to them. So whatever. So. If you have any sort of resolution after today, it's too late. Red's been crowned the winner of last week. So you won the one before that, which was back in episode 69. So instead of getting mad, get even. You can try and make up for it today. So I've got my my notebook here, which is in my little Sonic notebook, and I'm going to keep score so I don't crown the wrong winner again this time. And are you guys ready for the rapid fire quiz?
Yes. Are we doing just like red dong?
Oh, it's up to you. It's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red dong.
Yeah.
Okay. All good. All right. Let's start the clock now. Question number 1. What is the Nintendo name known as in Japan?
Dong.
Sean.
Nintendo.
That's not correct. Question number 2. From Tomb Raider. What is the name of Lara Croft's father? Quick, it's a rapid fire quiz. Red.
Mr. Croft.
So, Mr. Croft is not the correct answer. Question number 3. What is the nickname of the original gigantic Xbox controller? So, rapid fire quiz.
Skip.
Alright, you failed. Question number 4. Who is the first character to die on screen in The Last of Us? It was right at the beginning, Sean. Right at the tutorial area.
Oh, yeah,
Red.
Sean.
Oh, who got it? Sean.
His daughter. What's her name? Sarah.
Sarah is incorrect. Question number 5. What type of animal is Donkey Kong?
Red.
Dong.
Red.
A gorilla.
Yes. Question number 6. Name a type of Pokemon.
Dong.
Red.
Sean.
A Mewtwo.
A type of Pokemon, not the name of a
one.
Pokemon.
A fire one. Oh, I don't play Nintendo.
Ooh, I have to take your first answer. Sorry, mate. Question number 7. Ezio Auditore di Firenze from Assassin's Creed. Oh,
shit.
I haven't asked the question yet, but Red.
Okay.
Go ahead.
2.
Incorrect. I'll continue asking the question. From Assassin's Creed says, Requiescat in pace as he kills his targets. What does that mean in English?
Die, motherfucker.
That is incorrect. Question number 8. In Fallout 3, you acquire the VAT system. What does it stand for?
Oh. God.
Rapid fire quiz.
Red.
Red.
Visual auto telemetry system.
No, that's not even VATs. Anyway, question number 9. Name the main character from Call of Duty Black Ops.
Red.
Oh, God. Red.
I was going to say Mason.
Can you give me his full name?
No.
Fuck! Question number 10. What colour is Waluigi's shirt and hat?
Dong.
Red.
Sean.
Yellow.
Yellow is incorrect. Game over.
Oh, bitch. Oh, thank you.
Alright, let's go through the answers that were not given, which is pretty much all of
Every
them.
one of them.
I thought that they were easy. Well, some of them were tricky, but some of them were hard. But anyway, alright, the first one. What is Nintendo known as in Japan? You guys don't know this?
No, Nintendo.
It is not Nintendo. It's the Famicom.
Of course it is.
Yeah, the Famicom. And the Super Nintendo is the Super Famicom, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, okay. Question number 2 was the name of Lara's father. It's Richard James Croft is his name. But you guys didn't know that. That's fair enough. That was a tricky one. The name of the original gigantic Xbox, or the nickname of the original Xbox controller that was massive, it's called the Duke.
Oh, okay.
You guys didn't know that?
Nah, not at all.
Now, this one was a tricky question, number 4. Who was the first character to die on screen in The Last of Us? You said Sarah. Sorry, Red?
It was the neighbour?
It was the neighbour, and he gets a name. Because at the beginning he says there's something wrong with the Coopers, and then when he comes in he goes, stay back Jimmy, stay back, or something like that, and he shoots him. So his name's Jimmy Cooper. That was a hard one, but whatever, that is the neighbours.
You would have accepted the neighbour, wouldn't you?
I would have accepted. I've actually got that in brackets, the neighbour, because it would have been really hard to I had to watch it again to work out what his name was. But anyway, moving on, the one that you got right, Red, was what type of animal is Donkey Kong? A gorilla. Very good. Name a type of Pokemon, not a Pokemon. So there could have been obviously fire, water, plant, bug, dark, electric, fighting, ghost, dragon, flying, ground, normal, ice, poison, psychic, rock, or steel.
Jesus, you've got them all.
But Mew wasn't one of them. Sorry, that is a Pokemon, not a type of Pokemon.
It's a psychic Pokemon.
I think he's a psychic Pokemon, yes. Ezio Auditore Di Firenze from Assassin's Creed says, Requiescat in pace. As he kills his targets, Reprimir would have buzzed in halfway through that question as well, but he would have given the answer of rest in peace, is what that means in English. So that's that one. The next one...
Use that in Boondock Saints, don't they?
Oh, maybe. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Spirit Sancte or something.
Yeah, maybe. In Fallout 3, you acquire the VAT system. What does it stand for? VAT stands for Vault-Tec, Assisted Targeting System. That thing that you hate, Sean, firing a shotgun to someone's head and they just look at you. The next one, name the main character from Call of Duty Black Ops. Red, you said Mason. I may have given you Mason, but it doesn't really matter. Alex Mason was his full name.
Alex, yeah.
The colour of Waluigi's shirt and hat is purple. So Sean, you got none correct, and Red, you got Donkey Kong being a gorilla. So you got one. So Red, on a roll.
There's a special message on this video for you, Sean.
I guess he's putting his finger up or whatever. For those of you at
Both of them! Well done!
For those of you that... I get a point. So Red and I drew. So those of you at home, we're use our own recording devices. We're not actually looking at each other at the moment. So whatever he's doing, who knows? Put your fingers down, Red. So that's not what's that sound. That's the rapid fire quiz for this week. And Sean, have you got any comments?
Congratulations, Red.
Oh, now that's the good sport. Sorry, Red, I cut you off.
You and your one fucking answer.
It's an infinite amount of percentage more than what you gave.
Yes.
That's all I needed. Yes, well, correctly, that's right. All right, well, that's it for the rapid fire quiz. So this is a recorded segment. If you're listening to this, just the audio version, then stick around. We're going to continue on with Must Play Games, which is a new segment that Sean's going to do. But if you're watching this on the video, we're about to stop that now. So see ya.
All right, so this week we've got our inaugural Must Play Game section of the podcast, which is going to be my little thing that I do. So this week I'm going to start it off with one of my favourite games of all time, Portal 2.
Lovely.
So we're not going to talk about where it's set or what company it's in or anything like that. But, we'll go through. So basically, Portal 2 was one of my very first 10 out of 10.
Before you get into that, do you want to quickly explain what the segment is?
Oh, I'm going to go through like once a week. I'm going to pick one of my favorite games and ones that I've played more than the tutorial of, that have kept my attention for long enough to actually finish and really enjoy. So I'll explain why it is, who's in it, a little bit about the game, and all that kind of stuff. So
And why everyone should play it.
why you must play it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
So, yeah, as I said, it's going to be on Portal 2 this week. So it is one of my first 10 out of 10 experiences. I played through it on Steam originally, but it kind of really gave me the shits trying to use the keyboard and all that kind of stuff to do it. But I picked it up on the PS3 and played it and loved absolutely every second of it. Now, it's got, we'll talk about Portal. It's the second one, obviously. Shell is back, and she's the main protagonist from the,
Do you call her
the first
Shell?
Portal. What?
Do you just call her Shell?
Shell.
I thought it was Chell.
Chell. I thought it's Shell.
I thought it was like a half, like Rachel cut in half. Chell. Because it's C-H-E-L. I don't know. We're going to have to...
Yeah.
Can you just tweet Gabe?
Get on a
about-
Gabe again.
Get Gabe
That's what
again?
I'll do.
What do you think, Red?
I think Sean's wrong.
Of course you do. Man.
But the way you said that, do you think I'm not right either?
No, I take it on there. It's just like
How's
because
it
it
spelled?
can be Rachel, but it can also be Michelle.
No, it's spelled C-H-E-L. Is the main character's
Shell.
name?
It's double L.
Oh, double L. What is it? What'd you say? What do you think, Red?
C-H-E-L-L.
You think Shell as well?
Yeah.
How do you get a sh out of
Well, you get it
C-H-E-L-L?
in Michelle.
Well,
Rochelle.
yeah, but
Rochelle.
that's got a different prefix, but like C-H-E-L on its own, I would think that it's a ch sound.
Yeah.
Shell would have to be an SH. How do we... I don't know. How are we going to... Bloody hell, this fucking Portal game!
Got him.
Sorry, keep going. We'll sort that out later.
Yeah, so Shelley's back, and once
Shell?
again you get to fight off against a supremely sarcastic GLaDOS. So, spoiler alert for those that haven't played the first one, but GLaDOS actually dies at the end of the first one, and now she's brought back. So, extremely sarcastic, great character, GLaDOS, the big robot at Aperture Laboratories. The great thing about Shell, the main protagonist, is she's the perfect protagonist, and she's female, but the best bit about it is she doesn't talk, which makes her the perfect female. So you'll not hear anything from Shell all the way through the game, which is probably good. The reasoning behind this is that they wanted to make her a silent protagonist, which means that Shell could be anyone. So,
Yeah.
Except for us.
wait, pardon?
Well, except for us,
Yeah, well,
because we're blokes.
yeah, could be any chick.
Right.
All right, so you'll fly, jump, run, and portal your way through the Aperture Laboratories with the help of your trusty sidekick, Wheatley, who is played by Stephen Merchant. He's the guy from The Office, An Idiot Abroad, and basically anywhere else you can find Ricky Gervais, you'll find him. Great dialogue, will keep you laughing and adds a great element to the game. So the moments throughout the game, which you might seem as quite dull or like moving between areas or testing rooms, you know, he kind of sticks his head in and makes it fun, makes it really good. So the kind of loading bits is filled in with dialogue from him. He's very funny, and he's a great character in there. So he's a little robot that will follow you around in there. So also in the game, you'll find in the lower levels, you'll find Cave Johnson. So he's played by J.K. Simmons. He's the newspaper guy from Spider-Man, and you'll find him now laughing at everything on the internet in a meme. So he as well. So one big thing about the Portal 2 game is the dialogue, the story, and all that kind of stuff. They've got some great characters in there, and it really adds to the game, which can be seen as just a puzzle game, but with the added story and the way that the characters are portrayed and built upon it, it's really, really unique. Just for good measure as well, everybody's favourite, everybody, Nolan North, is also thrown into the game.
What does he
Anyone
do?
living under a rock and you don't know who Nolan North is. He's in every video game from the last 20 years, and he recently stole the job of a midget and had him completely removed from Destiny.
What does he do in Portal 2?
In Portal 2, he is the Space Core, the Fat Core, the Adventure Core, the Defective Turrets. So...
so his voice is all altered.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still him.
I believe you. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he's in everything, though.
I'll tweet Gabe.
Yeah. So yeah, what makes it great is the puzzles. It's all physics based, and you've got to use the portal gun, and so you'll shoot a orange portal and a blue portal, and you jump through one and you'll pop out the other, basically. So they are really challenging puzzles, which really need great timing and portal placement and all that kind of stuff to succeed. And when you're playing through it, it really takes a fair bit of time to be able to really like nut out the problems and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you get it right and you hit the portals perfectly, or you've jumped through a portal and now you're shooting another portal at a wall where you're about to land, and you get this real sense of accomplishment. You know, it's a really, really good puzzle. What's simplistically a puzzle game. It's really fun.
Well, yeah, all they did is give you the ability to shoot a portal on one wall, a portal on the other one, and you walk through it and you come out the other one. It's just simple and sounds just so stupid, but the paradoxes that creates just makes such an amazing experience. You're right, it's very, you do feel a sense of achievement once you figure out some of those tricky puzzles.
There's still one trophy that I'm trying to get, is that you've got to get through this one certain level in less than 50 seconds. Okay. And I'm always hitting it at about 52 seconds. I just can't knock that last 2 seconds off it to pop the trophy on it. And yeah, it just really takes that. It's the perfect. It's that sense of achievement that you get with that perfect run that you can create, because once you finish it, you find yourself going, I know how to do that now. Let's see if I can do it quicker.
Red, what were you going to say?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but would you say Portal and Portal 2, being the successor, they're the puzzle, the genre defining when it comes to puzzle games?
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah.
You know what, I was not the biggest fan of Portal 1, but Portal 2, it just blew me away. The dialogue, the story of it, you know, like we talk about games like Thomas Was Alone, which in essence is a game about jumping blocks.
Yeah.
And, you know, even coming up to recently, Cube, that was recently released, you know, great. If Cube had a story like Portal 2, it would have been absolutely phenomenal.
I think Cube had a good story, but no, it's not Portal 2 though.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, any game that sort of touches anything like this will always be compared to Portal, and unfortunately, I don't think anything will live up to it. It's and I think that's probably the biggest fear for them making a Portal 3. Because what happens if it's shit?
Yeah.
So
how do you beat that? You know, like it's
put it on for a 2-for-1 deal with Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh well, but yeah, look, it is a great game. I'm with you there. I think that is a must-play game, and if you haven't played Portal 2, you don't have to necessarily worry about Portal 1. Portal 1 is good, but Portal 2 does what a good sequel will do and does it even better, so it is pretty cool.
And you'll be able to pick it up dirt cheap on any last-gen console.
And it's not just portals as well. It expands and gives you the gel as well, that accelerant gel and the bouncy gel as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I've never played Portal.
Portal 2?
Either.
Oh, yeah, dude, you must.
Yeah.
You guys keep referring to it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it's with the yellow and the blue thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was a latecomer to the Portal games, and I was very, very pleased when I finally played them. You should give them a go on your PC. It'll run all right too, because it is a little bit older, but the graphics are beautiful.
Yeah.
Based on Sean's choice for his inaugural episode, I will play it on Steam.
Good boy. You could probably pick it up pretty cheap too. I think I got mine for about $5 a pop. You'll probably get it on some sort of sale at some stage.
I could twist your arm for a family share.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be easy. There you go.
Well, that's it. That is my
That's it for that one?
inaugural.
Good.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, good job, man. Congratulations. All right, Red, bring us home with a shout, will you, buddy?
Oh, rightio. So there's been a real big question, bold, italic, underlined on the page lately, and first and foremost, I'll do it for all the fans out there, and I'll put an end to it. Luke,
What?
do you have a foot fetish?
You know what? No, I don't. And and if I was ever going to have one, those feet that were posted on that competition have definitely ruined any chances of any sort of developing foot fetish. No, I definitely do not. The reason why I chose the foot is because I sat back in my chair
And the first thing you seen?
thinking of an idea, and I looked down and saw my foot. And was
it cold, was it?
Because my large, engrossing body part was not covering it. No, I've lost some weight.
I put some on, makes it harder.
Yeah, there you go. But no foot fetish.
But for the four blokes, I'll give them each a shout out because look, I've even before I was part of the admin team, I put some pretty funny-ish, bloody revealing photos up, but I probably wouldn't do my feet. So Gavin Wengenair, Dale Benson, Rhett Oates and Matt Turvey, my hat's off to you for getting your feet or your missus's feet up on there and showing a little bit of dedication. And I believe there's Halo hats on the way to the first three, so congratulations also. And last but not least, to round out the fifth, was Ben Martin. Look, this dude is just always vocal, always in there and on there, but he chose to use the poster page function again and share the black hops beer with us. So I was well impressed and well chuffed with that. So once again, I know he's a listener, so thanks very much, mate, and thanks to the other four blokes for having a bit of a laugh, bit of a chuckle, and getting amongst the competition that was on there. So that's a shout out for this week.
Good stuff. All right, thank you everyone that was mentioned just then. Thank you, Red. Wonderful. That's the end of the show. Sean, bring us home, buddy.
Well, now that we're at the end of this week's show, please take the time to like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/AussieGamers2012 or just search Aussie Gamers Express in the little search bar up top. You can also find us on Twitter at AussieGamers12. It's the people to follow over there. You get a little bit extra that you don't get on the Facebook page, like me pestering Gabe Newell and people at Valve. On Twitch, search Aussie Gamers TV at twitch.tv. YouTube, search Aussie Gamers Express, and you get access to all the videos that we've been putting up. Head on over there right now because we've got new videos up of Nico doing stupid things in games. We've got the Tomb Raider sneak peek at a few of the levels, gameplay done by Luke.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
What's that? Rise of the Tomb Raider. Thank you. And we've also got some unboxing videos and all this other cool stuff over there. So head on over there, have a look, subscribe to us and all that kind of stuff. I've lost where we're at, so Stitcher, TuneIn Radio and iTunes, search Aussie Gamers Express, and there you can download this podcast directly to the device of your choice. So you know what, it'll just download directly when you're at home and you're on your Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, so you're not using up your data and all that. You can listen to us wherever you want to, annoy people on the train by playing it on loudspeaker, annoy people at work by playing it on loudspeaker, or just keep it to yourself, whatever. Share it with your friends. PO Box 130, Cranebrook, New South Wales 2749 is where you can send snail mail if you've got any of that, and that's about it. I think I got everything. Aussie Gamers Express, www.aussiegamersexpress.com is where you'll find our blog. We'll have the Tomb Raider update up there. We'll have one up for, what else have we put up there this week?
The definitive edition of Darksiders 2 by Weeksy. Good job on that one.
I didn't put that up. I actually played that as well, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, me too, and I forgot about it as well. Well, I'll save that for next week.
So yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, wonderful.
If you've got any suggestions of what you think is a must-play game, send it through to us on the Facebook page, and if I think it is worthy, I might think about it.
Lovely.
If you've got questions for Luke's quickfire quiz, send them through to there, and then send them through to my email with the answer, so I'm not a shit next week.
No, I'll be redoing those questions on my own. And the only catch is if you're sending in suggestions for a must-play game, Sean, you're going to have to have played them.
Yes, I know.
Well, the must-play game segment for next week will be known as My Life in Lego.
Yes.
Yeah,
straight.
that's all he's played. Lovely. All right, that'll do for episode 102. Catch us next week. I've been Luke 1.
I've been Thorncliff.
And I've been Red.
Like a newspaper.